Tonight I have this backpack because I thought by now I would have known whether it's a man couple or a woman couple to throw some salt on. But we still have to wait to find out, because we may have to even call in the count from Sesame Street to see whether we get the count right this time. But we are here to mind our business and to mind Tobago's business. Because Tobago's business is your business, is my business, is all our business. I want to start by telling you a story. There is a fable about a man called Rip Van Winkle. And this man was asleep on a mountain called Catskill Mountain for 20 years. When he awoke, he came down the mountain, and some folks said to him, "Look, this is a picture of George Washington." He asked them, "Who is that?" They said, "But this is the President of the United States." The man was clueless because he slept for 20 years. A revolution happened and he was asleep. I have come from Speyside tonight to tell you that a revolution is happening. And if you are asleep, you need to get awake. You cannot be asleep while this revolution is happening. I come from Speyside to tell you that I know that in broad daylight we are all experiencing a political nightmare, and you have forced yourself to sleep so you don't have to face the realities of Tobago. But I have come from Speyside to wake you up, because this season is a season for fighting. This is a season for being awake. We cannot be asleep while our island is sliding down the drain. We have to get up and fight like never before for this island. And so we have to fight. Time to be awake, Tobago. And I know, as Sister Lisi indicated, we vex, we fed up, things ain't right. Because the truth is, when our butchers have to butcher their meat in the bush because we can't have a single operational abattoir, you know that something wrong with the island. You know something is wrong with us when you can work for year upon year upon year upon year on contract. At the end of the contract, although we are budgeted to have money for gratuity, you can't get your money. You know something has to be wrong when it is we could build that big monstrosity on the sand in Castara, and all now we can't open it. We know something has to be wrong when 2 years ago a chief administrator could stand before Parliament and say that we built a new jetty in Little Tobago, but the last time I went there is the same old jetty that there. Something has to be wrong. So I've come tonight to say to Tobagonians, wake up from your slumber. We have a fight to fight, because you may sleep, but I assure you this revolution is going to happen. And I pray that you wake and wake up on the right side of this revolution. You have to join this fight. Tonight, I stand there as the prospect for this party, as the Chief Secretary for Tobago. And I want to once again say thank you to this party for entrusting a young man like me with such an opportunity. The Bible says we call you because you are young and because you are strong. And young men are supposed to be ready for battle and for war and to fight. And so I want to say to you young people in Tobago, apathy is not the place you retreat to. You can't stay home and say, well, I'm fed up, I'm tired, I'm not going to try. You have to get up and try something different. We have tried the same recipe for the last 20 years, and after every cycle, we have ended up with, at best, a cake that dropped. You ever bake a cake and it dropped? It doesn't even materialize to its fullest potential. And so you young people must first of all get up from where you are and fight for this island, Tobago. Secondly, I want to say to those who may be PNM and consider yourself die-hard and looking on from the periphery tonight, I want to say to you that PDP is an all-inclusive party, and we believe in the principle of rock and come in. So rock and come in. I want to assure you that a THA run by the PDP will put an end to victimization, because the day the election ends is the day we take off our black jerseys, and you should take off your red or whatever color you have on, and we clothe ourselves in Tobagonianness and fight for this island called Tobago. We have to create a coalition of the competent and the willing. And so you must be a part of that. You too are part of that solution. Because I tell you, the solution to Tobago's problems is not just in voting the PDP. The solution includes you too working hard to ensure that this Tobago up its game. Because at the end of the day, we have to compete with the rest of the Caribbean and the rest of the world. And right now, we are not competitive. I have come from Speyside to tell you that key to our mandate is social services on this island. Because for those among us who are disadvantaged, those among us who are poor, those among us who are needy, those among us in need of good health care, you will take front and center of our plans. You must be first and foremost in our minds. And I want to tell you, some politicians just wicked. All of a sudden they get elected, they're driving in Prado, so they can't feel the potholes that your car jumping into. All of a sudden, when they're sick, they could fly out and pay for health care, while you sit down in A&E for hours upon hours, waiting for attention. All of a sudden, they know their family is well off, but you can't even get an X-ray at the hospital. You could barely get an MRI done. Everything shut down. And you see, this thing called arrogance, it ends when PDP wins the next 2 elections. Because arrogance cannot be the personality of your leaders. It cannot. Because your leaders must be attentive to your needs. In fact, it is why the other party is fighting between the status quo and the other lady. Because somehow they feel that who they have is far too arrogant for their party. But I assure you, PDP ain't getting no arrogant people. We're just as common as you are. Where you are, there we are also. And so you must join us in this fight, PDP. You must join us in this fight, Tobago. I've come from Speyside to tell you that when we take over, corruption comes to an end. It comes to an end, and accountability begins. So for all those who think they get away because we pay hundreds of thousands of US dollars for a zip line and we can't see a nylon in the forest, you ain't get away yet. For all those who think they get away because they took 430,000 US and give it to a singer in the US who never come and sing, you ain't get away yet. For all those who take with $10 million and give it away to England in a fake bank account in England, you ain't get away yet. I want to tell you, for all those who stole out of works and infrastructure, and you feel you get away, and you feel you can live large, you ain't get away yet. Because time longer than twine, and every rope have an end, and it will come to an end this year. And so part of our mandate must be to end corruption. And so Tobagonians, you have to hold us accountable. You have to hold your leaders accountable. For far too long, you elect people and they become celebrities. They become untouchables. You have to change that, because you are a part of the accounting process of the island. You have to check up on your area reps. When last you went by your area rep? When last you called your area rep? When last you WhatsApp them? When last you go by the office? And do you tell them when you think they did something wrong? That is part of the accounting that we need. But above all, we have to find a way to get to our Tobagonian pride. That's right. Our good old Tobagonian pride. That's right. Who we were. We were an island that was industrious and creative. Now every week you turn on the news and you hear about a next robbery at a next small business in Tobago. That is a sign that this island is being levantilized, and that cannot and should not happen under our watch. We should never allow that to happen. And that's why we have said to you that we want to transform you from make work programs to being gainfully and sustainably employed. Because I kid you not, you should be the next millionaires on this island. It cannot be reserved for a few, for a minute part of our population. You too must have the opportunity to be a contractor. You too must have an opportunity to sit at the table and eat in a dignified manner. But right now we have a few numbing all the food and the rest of us scampering on the ground and killing each other over the crumbs on the ground. That must come to an end. And how do we bring that to an end? I tell you, it's a two-step program that we must have. The first is that we must send a message for the national or general elections. And we have to send a powerful message. I want to tell Tobago West tonight that Tobago East done on track to send that message. Because the blackout done happen in Tobago East already, and we're not turning back. And so I want to call on Tobago West to join us. I want you to join us, but you have to be brave. You have to take a chance on a young woman who you will meet in a little while. You have to take a chance on a young woman who has no flams about her, who is not extra. She's extraordinary, but she enough. She's humble, she's calm, she's polite, she's intelligent, she's a hard worker. You have to take a chance on somebody who is of that character. Because we could have looked for some big name celebrity to put on the ticket for you. But this election is not about who could look cute. This election is about who could do the work. This election is about who could go down and fight. And fighting is a dirty job. When you're fighting, you can't look cute. When you're fighting, you just sweat plenty. When you're fighting, you just get dirty. When you're fighting, you just get bruised and bloodied. When you're fighting, you just get mocked upon you and thrown upon you. We are sending somebody who is willing to go down in the gutters and pull Tobago up out of the gutters so that we can experience a brighter day. So Tobago West, that's the first part of the program. The second part of the program is that we should reverse the last 20 years of the THA. We have had 20 years of the same political party ruling Tobago. 20 years. Think about that. That only exists in Russia. Russia not even democratic. That exists in Cuba or China. But which serious democratic country allows one group to pigeonhole them, to lock them down? And so I say to you tonight, the second part of the program is to kick them out come the Tobago House of Assembly election. And I want to say additionally that we are going to ensure we give you the 12 best candidates who can work on your behalf and who can turn this island around. And I say to my friends on the other side, there's no need to be afraid of Farley. Because I don't have to pretend my face fresh. My face is fresh. I am only 34 years old. You don't have to be afraid of a Chief Sec Farley. Because this Chief Sec Farley you see is the same Chief Sec Farley who catches the bus who walks with you, who stands in the rain and the sun with you, every and anywhere, who is at your funerals, who is at your wedding and your wakes, because this Farley understands that it's not about politics, but it's always about the people before the politics. I want to tell you, don't have to afraid this Farley as a chief sec, because I can tell you the office of the chief sec under me will be a dignified one. I won't be using your money to buy expensive vehicles and to build expensive offices while you have nowhere proper to live. I will leave myself undone for you, because being a leader is about being a servant of the people first and always. It's about serving the people. So I tell you this, stand with us today as we fight for this island. Awake from your slumber. You have been sleeping for too long. We fell asleep in 2001 and boom, we wake up in 2020 and realize that we have been nowhere better than we were in 2001. They have failed us. They must admit they have failed us. You know they have failed us. You should not fail yourself. You should not fail yourself. And so, finally, these elections and these elections coming are really about your self-esteem and how you esteem yourself as an island, how you think of yourself. And I want to remind you of how you should think of yourself. I want to remind you that Tobago can be the greatest little island on the planet. I want to remind you that Tobago can be better than all the other islands in the Caribbean put together. I want to remind you that we can be wealthier, we can be more industrious, more creative than anyone else in the world. We have what it takes. We have produced some of the brightest minds the world has ever seen. So why are we doubting ourselves now? We can do this, and we should do it. We should do it. And it's not about fancy talk and fancy speeches, because I can tell you, as the season gets more mature, this political season, you will hear a lot of silliness. They will try to assassinate our characters. And every day I sit and I wonder, what will they throw on you, Farley? What will they say about you? But it doesn't matter what they say about me, you know, because I know my bread and water is sure. I was young and now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor is seen begging bread. So me ain't worried at all. And I've hardly spoken about it, but I know what it is for them to victimize me, because I chose this path. That's why I'm not a teacher for today. Victimization. That's why I haven't been paid monies that they owe me for today. But if somebody must make this sacrifice, your leaders must make this sacrifice. And I beg of you, don't let me make this sacrifice in vain. I want you to stand with me, to stand with Mr. Watson Duke, to stand with Dr. Faith B. Israel, to stand with Alicia Patterson Roberts, to stand with us as we fight for this island. You have to take a stand. Do not be afraid, because there is no power on earth that is greater than people power. And I want to tell you that when we come together as a people, no power they have could ever match the power of all of we. And so we must stop letting the minority destroy us. And let me tell you why it's a minority. Last election, most electoral districts only clocked just over 40% voter turnout, which means that in many areas, over 60% of the people did not turn up to vote. Over 60%. Fortunately, in Roxborough de la Ford, 60% turned out to vote. In Speyside, 59% turned out to vote. In Goodwood Garden West, 54% turned out to vote. But outside of that, only in the 40s. It means that the majority of us are choosing to stay home and sleep while evil reign. You can't stay home and be comfortable while evil reign. You know you're not satisfied. You know you're unhappy. But you cannot stay home. You have to get up and get. And so I tell you this evening, I want you to be our messengers. We are going to evangelize this thing as we do in church. Each one must tell one. Each one must bring one. Each one must go to a neighbor, a family member, a friend, and say, come, get on board. Each one must fight for the other one, because your neighbor's plight is also your plight. Because injustice in countryside is injustice in town side. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And so you must get up and get moving, and let us pull the rest of Tobago behind us. Let us all just rock and come in. Rock and come in. Tell Granny, rock and come in. Yes, we know Granny, you might have voted the same way all your life, but rock and come in. Not because your parents have been doing things the same way for 20 years, you too can rock and come in, because this house of the PDP embraces everybody, including those of you who wore a red t-shirt today and might be suffering the agony of defeat tonight. So we invite all of you, rock and come in. You ain't satisfied with the results you might get at the polls in your internal elections? Rock and come in. You feel that they were mean and nasty to you? Rock and come in. It's a long time now you're begging them to pave the road. Rock and come in. It's a long time your house slipping away from no retaining wall. Rock and come in. It's a long time you're waiting on an appointment for a surgery. Rock and come in before you die. Rock and come in. And when we all rock and come in, we will build and rebuild this family called Tobago, where we will all live in bliss and enjoy the closest thing to heaven, Paradise Island, Tobago. Thank you, Bethel. Thank you, Tobago. Love you all. Rock and come in.